All right, welcome to another episode of the Rich Eisen Show basketball podcast. I'm here with the guys. Brockman here with Adam. And TJ, what's up, fellas?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you guys. Now, this is a curb topic, but it's, apropos here. How late is too late to say Happy New Year? Do you guys follow you got about a week, or is it one of those situations where it's the first time you see a person? You're allowed to say Happy New Year still.
I won't roll my eyes until the 1st of February. So
yeah.
I figure you got about a year.
You got all of January? You got the whole month?
Yeah, especially if you haven't seen somebody. Because sometimes that's just... You ever get just stuck for something to say to somebody? You're just
absolutely.
Happy New Year. So yeah, I think you can get away with that for a month.
I totally agree with you, actually.
Don't tell me Happy New Year in March, though, because I might backhand you.
Even towards the end of January, it starts to get a little, all right, we've
Even
done
if
this
you haven't
enough.
seen them?
If you haven't seen them, then it's okay. But if you've seen them, then it's just a little like what are we doing?
Oh, yeah. If you've seen them more than once,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's weird.
don't keep saying Happy New Year. But if we didn't work together and I just rolled up and I saw you the Comedy Store or something, and it's January 25th, and I'm like, oh, hey man, Happy New Year, good to see you. That's okay? You would roll your eyes at that?
It's okay, but I might quietly in the back of my head roll my eyes a little.
Wow.
Yeah, after really the first 2 weeks is kind of
That's kind of jacked up. Now I'm with you, TJ. You get all of January as long as it's the first time you see someone.
Yeah, why would you say it the third time you saw someone, though?
people have done that before.
Then they're a psycho.
Yeah,
you might be a serial killer or something. That's psychotic behavior.
Or they just don't remember seeing you the first time and saying
That's
it
even
because
more
they're
messed up. Then
they're
what
narcissists.
what kind of friend are you?
Well, they're narcissists and only think about themselves.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
don't think about when they saw other people.
All right, speaking of the first time we're going to see someone, Kyrie Irving's playing tonight, guys. It's Wednesday. We're recording this on Wednesday, January 5th, and Kyrie Irving is back with the Nets. They're in Indiana tonight, and Kyrie's going to make his NBA season debut for the 21-22 season, guys. Adam, thoughts right away when the news came out that Kyrie was coming back, and now we're actually going to see him play? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm so excited to watch this because, yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, say what you want about Kyrie and all the
We all have.
Yeah, we all have. But when it comes down to it, this guy is a phenomenal talent. He's a once-in-a-generation type talent. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's able to gel with KD and Harden and the rest of the team. I'm sure it'll take some adjustment period, but he's so talented that I think it's going to happen pretty quickly where we see him getting back into the 25 points, 7-8 assists game type form. I guess the hardest part will be the fact that he can't play in the home game, so the chemistry might be an issue, but he's just so talented and they've played enough with each other where I think it'll work eventually.
Yeah, TJ, how do you think tonight goes and maybe the next, week or so, him, getting back into the groove and adjustment of being an everyday player?
Let's see here. How many games? What are they, 29 and 12 right now? Is that what their record is?
No, they're 23 and 12. So they've played a little bit of fewer games than most.
I mean, obviously, it's going to take some time, even though these are world-class athletes, right? It's going to take some time for him to get his wind back, get back into basketball playing shape. I mean, I'm sure he's been kind of in the gym working out, but nothing is going to prepare him for chasing Steph Curry around. Oh, wait, he can't even play against Steph Curry, home nor away, so never mind. Nothing's going to prepare him for chasing Ja Morant around the court like chasing Ja Morant around the court. So I would assume it's going to take a little bit to get into game shape, and then, how well you do mesh and merge and gel with your teammates. Obviously, it's going to be quicker than, your local YMCA league standout who hasn't gone and played. But, I mean, there's something to be said about that amount of time, and this is a championship contender, so, they're going to want some type of cohesion. So
yeah, they played a little bit.
Take some time
together last year is kind of a big three with KD and Harden, but not as much as we would have liked. Their championship run last year got derailed by injuries, and now it's been kind of slowed by this vaccine thing that Kyrie's been pulling. I'm so curious. I like you, Adam. I think he's going to come out and just be great right away because that's just what we've seen from him. No matter what, he's been able to overcome injuries and off the court things, and he's just been an awesome player. So,
and to me, he is the greatest ball handler of all time. So, just as a basketball fan, I just love watching him play. He's exciting to watch.
He's an unbelievable finisher at the rim.
Insane.
the way he's able to finesse the ball off the backboard and make it do crazy things where it always finds itself in the hole. Obviously, just a shot maker. Go back to 2016 NBA Finals. Like, he hit the game-winning shot against Golden State. He's just an unbelievable finisher at the rim and a shooter. I don't like the guy personally for what he did to Boston and kind of the stuff he's been pulling this year, but it is amazing watching him play because when it comes down to it, we want to see, TJ, we want to see the greatest athletes do the things that they're great at, right? And that's what Kyrie Irving is. He's great at basketball.
Also, to call him the greatest ball handler of all time, there's an argument.
I knew you were going to take issue to that.
There's a lot of people.
I knew you were going to take issue with that.
I just don't know that you can just blatantly say he's the greatest. When Pete Maravich once roamed this earth, when Steve Nash used to lean out of a driving car and dribble a tennis ball, when Allen Iverson walked the planet, when Isaiah Thomas is still alive, when Chris Paul is still playing, when Steph Curry is even in the league. So it's tough, but is he in the discussion? Absolutely. He definitely is.
Steph Curry too in the discussion, right?
That's why I said Steph. Yeah. So
all right, so they're at Indiana, and then he had 2 home games for the Nets, at Portland, at Chicago, then 2 home games, and then mid-month 4 straight road games: Cleveland, Washington, San Antonio, Minnesota. Which one of these games, at what game mark for Kyrie, did you see the first real 30-12 type game? Like, when does he break 30 points?
Probably his second game.
Yeah.
We're still talking about one of the elite athletes, one of the basketball players walking God's green earth. So it's just a matter of, like I said, of getting that rhythm, getting that wind up a little bit. And then I'm assuming playing at that level is like riding a bike. I've played basketball not at that high of a level.
Not that high?
About a half of, maybe 2 levels under that I've played. But
the local Pittsburgh Rec League is two leagues under that.
Well, by the way, I am a 2-time downtown YMCA of Pittsburgh champion back-to-back because we had it like that. Okay, so don't disrespect me.
We got kicked out of my L.A. league that we used to play in because we were too good.
Oh, is that when you threw the basketball and broke the exit sign?
That was a different league. That's another story.
This guy had a Dennis Rodman
type meltdown.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we mentioned.
But you know what I'm saying? Road games. This is weird. It's going to be
super weird.
So weird.
It's gonna mess with your rotation. It's going to mess with your chemistry. But look,
who's picking up in fantasy? By the way, does anybody have the balls to do that?
Someone drafted him.
Yeah, he's been sitting on somebody's bench all year.
Someone drafted and has been stashing him the whole time.
I'm going to say maybe Don Bowie.
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
like a
Adam.
Don move.
I mean, not Adam. Maybe Jordan might have him.
Yeah.
But he's definitely he got drafted for sure. He got drafted early too.
That was a gamble that I think could actually really pay off.
Yeah, same with the dude who picked up Klay. Who I think Don did Klay also.
Yeah. But here's the deal: it's a gamble that paid off. But look, instead of you picking, I don't know, like Steph, you stashed Kyrie, right? Like
no. But I think Kyrie was like one of the last people picked.
No, he was picked pretty.
I think it was mid.
Really?
It
was about mid draft because So.
All right, so one of the teams we mentioned, Kyrie, his 3rd game back will be against Chicago. Adam, you were home in Chicago over the winter break, and man, something crazy happened with the Bulls and DeMar DeRozan. Back-to-back game winners on consecutive nights by this guy, and like 2 different type of shots too, like a running 1-footer from the top of the key, and then a double team in the corner the next night. Which was your favorite, and were you watching both live?
I was watching both live, both with my dad, which was so cool because some of my best childhood memories are watching the Chicago Bulls in the 90s with my family.
You grew up in the perfect time for the Bulls run. We were all Bulls fans growing up because we all loved Michael Jordan, but you were an actual Bulls fan from Chicago.
Grew up 10 minutes away from the Berto Center where they used to play. And I had so many good memories with my family. And those Bulls moments created so many great, family bonds and memories.
Yeah.
And this brought back like a flashback of that because it's been so long since the Bulls have been relevant and good. And I was able to watch both those games with my dad. And just to have those reactions when DeMar hit those game-winning shots was just incredible. I was able to actually screen record one of them. It's actually on my Twitter at Chudwin, a little plug there. But it was so awesome. My favorite was probably the first one, just because he had the ball and the clock was running down. And I was like, DeMar, what are you doing? Because
it looks like he lost track of time, right?
Looks like he lost track of time. There's like 2 seconds left. I was like, oh no, he's not going to get the ball up on time. And then 1.6 seconds, I think, around that time, he just launches a 3-pointer off of 1 foot and hits it. And I freaked out. I was in my living room. I threw a pillow on the ground. I was going crazy.
You Gronk spiked a pillow.
I Gronk spiked a pillow.
Because you were so excited.
I was so excited. It felt like it was like a playoff excitement, even though it was just a regular season game in the middle of the year. But I just haven't felt that joy in such a long time as a Bulls fan, really since about like 2011, 2012, the Derrick Rose era. And, you know, it was awesome. And then the second one,
I love Rosen's reaction to hitting that first one. He just kind of stood there and put his arms out, and everyone kind of rushed him. Like,
oh yeah, he's been there before.
Yeah, like what a rush!
Show me love.
Yeah, and they said it's the first time in NBA history where players hit back-to-back game winners in back-to-back days. Larry Bird did it in 2 games in a row, but it wasn't back-to-back.
Right, like buzzer beaters.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Balls in the air, horn sounds. Goes in, you win.
And the second one was amazing. I screen recorded it because I was like, well, he did it last night. You never know what can happen again. And he hit the shot. And the best thing about that also is my dad and I were eating Gibson's steaks right after that. So like we got to celebrate with some Gibson steak. Gibson's, shout out, one of the best steakhouses in the country in Chicago. And so that was just an amazing night as well. So it was beautiful to see. I wasn't able to go to any Bulls games when I was there, but just seeing those games, even just on TV, was just spectacular to watch.
And now your dad is older, right? So
Yeah,
like
he's 71.
it was a question of like his heart. Like, how did he take it? Did he handle it? Were you worried about the screaming and him having a heart attack?
Well, God bless my dad. He did have a heart attack last year.
Oh.
So I didn't think about that at the time. And probably eating steak was probably not the best choice for his diet. But yeah, I guess when somebody's older, you have to be a little worried about that.
Yeah, because remember, like we were talking a lot about Ben Roethlisberger this week, TJ, and remember the playoff game where Jerome Bettis fumbled, and there was a report that some dude actually had a heart attack at that moment in a Pittsburgh bar. You remember that?
Never heard that story.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, that play where Jerome Bettis is going in to score, they're playing the Colts, and he fumbles. And the Colts pick it up, and they're running it back.
And Ben did the inside-out turn,
turning around, and then barely trips the guy and saved the game. And the Steelers ended up winning and going on to win the Super Bowl. There was a report that came out a few days later. At the exact moment of the Bettis fumble, this dude was so shocked that he had a heart attack inside a bar.
Never heard that story. That's crazy. Did he die?
No, he lived.
Okay,
he
good.
lived, but thank God he lived.
So then it's just a cool story.
Yeah, it's such a cool story. Like,
And by the way, 70 is not to be your dad. That's not really that old.
No, I mean, well, he's 71. It's not old. Like
how
my
old are you?
36.
Oh, okay. I guess it's not as old as I thought.
Yeah.
When I'm 71, Cage will be 31, so that'll make me old. I'll be the old. I'll be the old.
And by the way, I have to go back to something. You were right, Adam. Kyrie was drafted in the last round. I don't know why in my mind I was thinking of Ben Simmons, and because I knew Ben Simmons got drafted in like the 7th or 8th round.
Did you take Simmons in our fantasy
No, I
league?
did not take him. Somebody who did take? Let me
Someone
think.
did, man.
I want to say Planet Love. That would be Smith, Sean Mitchell, I think.
Is he ever? Simmons, just to sidetrack for a second. Is Simmons ever going to play this year?
I mean, look, man. Apparently, he is running out of money. He's getting fined pretty heavily.
He just got engaged too.
Yeah,
I think it's been over $10 million in fines this year alone.
That's the report. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I did not see that.
I mean,
Wow.
look, at some point, man, I don't know. We might be veering off. I don't know what you do about this Ben Simmons situation. Like, at some point, does Ben Simmons just like, can I say nut up? Does he just be like, yo,
You say whatever you want. We're on YouTube,
Come
bro.
into play? You know, I mean, what is Daryl Morey and Elton Brand? What are they waiting for? Like,
What is the plan?
I don't know if there is a plan.
Well, the problem is that they're losing leverage the more and more the season goes on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to take a team, right? Possibly a contending team to lose a guard.
What do you guys think about
And then
the whole
we'll see.
the Westbrook for Simmons trade?
I don't. Let's move on.
You don't want Westbrook on your team.
No.
You
And
see,
Matt-
last night was the first day in like 5 years that Westbrook didn't have a turnover.
It was like 470 games or something like that.
I mean, easily his best game as a Laker. They were losing, and they came back and kind of won midway through the fourth quarter. We talk a lot about the Lakers around here because,
I don't even know why,
but they're interesting. Do you think they're finally starting to figure it out? Malik Monk is playing well. Carmelo's hitting shots. It's kind of funny. They were playing against Buddy Hield last night, and that's the exact guy that we've been saying for months and months and months that they should have went out and acquired.
Yeah.
But
He had a great game last night.
He did. There was one sequence, I thought about going back and just recording it all, that him and LeBron traded back-to-back to back-to-back threes, just like up and down the court. It was so exciting and so thrilling, but do you think they're starting to figure it out a little bit? Westbrook starting to figure out how he fits in this team? I know it's been 40 games. They're halfway through the year.
I mean, I think I've said this in prior podcasts that I think the role players are so important for the Lakers, like Malik Monk, because he will get open shots. And if he's hitting those shots, then the Lakers can go far. So it's
He's
really
been
up to
dynamite for
these
the
role
last
guys.
week or two.
Yeah, look, Dwight Howard, I just realized he was 14
and 14 last night.
THT had 19, so.
The problem is that these guys can do it.
Yeah.
Have not been doing it consistently.
And they can't do it on an everyday basis. But if you've got 6 people and you're at least getting this type of run out of 2 out of the 6 every game, 3 out of the 6, just going between, Melo and Horton and Malik Monk and Howard, then that's a recipe maybe for some success right there. But they're not getting it out of them on a consistent every night basis.
Not on a consistent basis. The Lakers 20-19 right now in the 7th seed.
No AD right now, so once they get him back, that'll make things easier for everybody.
Yeah, no AD, but other teams are playing without guys. Dallas is ahead of them. They were without Luka for a couple weeks. Nuggets still waiting on Jamal Murray to come back. Michael Porter Jr. out for the year now. One team that's been playing great, and I saw on ESPN they're throwing his name in the MVP mix. Ja Morant, Grizzlies 25-14.
Ja, baby.
Ja Morant MVP? Are we really talking about that right now, Adam?
Ja Morant, sensational player. I think he's already becoming a superstar. Not even close to the MVP though. I just don't see that right now. There's too many players ahead of him that are playing even better. He missed a few games, didn't he? Also, he missed a good amount of games and they were still winning.
Yeah.
I love Ja. I got to see him play in person earlier this year, and watching Ja, he's not a big guy. He's pretty short. He's maybe 6'2", 6'3" at the most. But
really thin.
Yeah, very thin.
Yeah.
He looks, when you see him in person, he looks like he's maybe a freshman in college or something like that. But the guy has incredible athletic ability, great body control, great court vision. I remember Jerry West was really high on him before that Zion, Ja draft, and Jerry West, obviously, I trust is the smartest mind in basketball. So I think Ja is a superstar. If not this year, definitely in the future. But I don't think he's MVP right now.
Now who is? Is it still Steph?
Do you want me to be real or be biased?
Wait, you think it's DeMar DeRozan? I mean, the Bulls are one of the surprise teams in the league. There's no doubt about that. 1 seed in the East right now.
Number 1 seed in the East, DeMar DeRozan is averaging 26.9 points a game, 5 rebounds, 49% field goal shooter, and you have the 2 back-to-back game winners.
Yep.
This guy's a mid-range assassin.
He has his 2 moments of the year.
Yeah, he has the 2 moments. I mean, to be real, it's probably between him and Steph. I'm being biased, though, and I'm just going to go DeMar.
Sure. Between him and Steph, not KD?
I mean, I have DeMar, Curry, and KD is number 3. Curry and Durant have both had to deal with players that are great players in their team not playing, with Klay and Weissman out, and then you have Kyrie out. So, he's had to carry the load with Durant, but just with Curry, he's averaging 27, 6, and 5. He just makes it so much easier for everybody else. And they have the best record in the league, so that's why I give him the slight edge over KD.
Yeah. TJ, you like KD here for MVP at the halfway point almost?
Well, one thing, getting back to Ja Morant, you're looking at Ja Morant, right? And the way I'm looking at these standings, right now.
For stats.
I'm looking at the standings, and you got Memphis, right? They're at the 4 seed right now. They're 25-14, so that's 39 games. They're 6 games ahead of the 5th place team. So I'm going to say, barring like a collapse, Memphis is going to finish in the top 4, top 5 at the very latest.
Seems like it, right?
Ja has played 27 out of the 39 games. He's averaging 25, 6, and 7.
He missed a lot of time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, 12 games, yeah.
That's a lot, though.
Yeah,
Well, he had an ankle injury.
Ankle.
And he missed some time.
Yeah.
But he's been dominating.
The fact of the matter is he's averaging 25, 6, and 7. He's shooting 40% from 3.
That's good.
And his team's in 4th place. You have to look at him as an MVP candidate. He's right up there with everybody else.
Yeah, it seems like Memphis is overachieving a little bit.
Very
but
much so.
But let's say they keep playing at a 65%, win pace.
Yeah, they're going to finish in the top 4.
Yeah, they're
We're
going to be.
talking right now, though, and he's just missed too many games.
You know, and I'm totally down with that line of thinking. But if this carries on and we're 30 more games down the line as we get into the last couple weeks of the NBA season, and Memphis has a chance to maybe catch Utah and be the 3 seed, I think we got to have a serious conversation about Ja Morant. I don't know, was it Kendrick Perkins that threw him out there? I forget who.
I believe it was Kendrick.
I forget who said it on ESPN, but I think we're going to see him in there. But for me, right now, I think it has to be Kevin Durant. Like what this dude is doing. No disrespect to DeMar, and I think I said before that it was Steph, but gosh, just all the crap they're dealing with and the amount of replacement fill-in guys that Brooklyn has had to use, and KD's out there leading the league in scoring. He's having 50-point triple-doubles. Like, it's just been unbelievable. And it seems like it's almost flying under the radar a little bit.
I don't think Kevin Durant's flying. I think it's Kevin. You know who he is.
I know.
It's
you know
Kevin.
who he is.
And I think
it seems like not enough. I guess maybe not flying under the radar, but not enough people are talking about
I
it.
don't know if that's true necessarily.
No?
I think it's gotten to the point where Durant's and LeBron's greatness is taken for granted a bit. I would say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, with the Tom Brady's, with the LeBrons, it's like you just expect this. You expect them to do well. I think you're right, though. I'd say Steph is still in there. KD's still in there. I think Joker is still up in there, quiet as kept. Joker's been
Real
balling.
He's almost better than he was last year.
Yeah,
He's averaging 25, 14, and 6 assists.
Yeah,
Statistically, he's probably better, right, than last year?
So you got to put some respect on his name. I would say maybe those might be my top 3 guys for MVP.
You know, it's pretty funny. If they had maybe just a handful of more wins, the LeBron stands would be out in full force because LeBron's stats right now are also stupid.
He's had an amazing year. He's missed a lot of games also.
He's missed a lot of games.
But, like, if you look at the way he's playing, he hasn't lost a step at all.
No, it's ridiculous.
Man, the last 2 weeks, he's just been...
LeBron's an anomaly.
And the thing is, they're not translating to a lot of wins. I mean, obviously, they're a 500 team. Yeah, I think that's kind of who they are at this point based on all the role players that they have. But on nights where they're winning, LeBron is throwing up 37, 12, and 8, and you're just like, how is he still doing this? How is he still chasing guys down from behind and blocking them off the win? It's like crazy.
I don't understand how you are playing the game and LeBron's in the game and you got a breakaway and you know the man's on the court and you think you're like, no, pump fake, do something, man. Like, pull up from 3. No one's going to okay, LeBron was behind him. That makes sense. Because if you go up, there's a 60% chance he's sending you the other way. So and it's just ridiculous how many times we've seen it happen and it continues to happen. Like, what do you think?
I'd get PTSD if he did that to me. I'd always be looking in the back of my head, like in the next layup.
Like, I mean, the first time I ever really remember that type of play is Tayshaun Prince doing it to Reggie Miller in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yep. Tayshaun Prince was highly underrated, by the way.
Tayshaun Prince was like, I think he was one of those guys we talk about being aliens. Yeah. That dude was an alien.
Tayshaun Prince was one of those guys who could tie his shoes without bending over. That's how long his arms were. Like, he's just standing up straight. Let me tie my shoe real quick. Like, yeah.
Yo, I remember I went to that Slam Dunk to the Beach high school basketball tournament because it was in Delaware, and my grandmother lived in Delaware, and we were down there, and I wanted to go, and so I went. That was the year Al Harrington was the #1 ranked player in the country.
Okay.
And Dominguez High School was playing, and there was Tayshaun Prince's senior year. Also on that team was Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
They were on the same team. Tyson Chandler was 7 feet tall as a freshman.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
But Tayshaun Prince was the man. He was a senior. He was already committed to Kentucky, obviously. I was like, I want to watch this dude play. It was unbelievable to see these guys play against like high school dudes like myself. Like, I couldn't imagine being on the same court with these guys.
It's always fun to see NBA players when they're in high school. I got to see Shannon Brown play and D Brown when they were both teammates in Proviso East. And just seeing the level, how much they're above the high school
Their skill
competition.
level is just so much different. It's like we're not playing the same game.
You're playing the same game, just in
the rules are the
far
same.
different
Yeah,
bodies.
just far different body types and DNA structures. It's just like, my God, like, yeah, aliens before we even really use
One day we'll get to, I'll tell you the story about how I was at the Dapper Dan game in Pittsburgh in the early 90s and watched Weber and Jawan Howard and that whole class. And then I went to the McDonald's game and then like 94 and saw Kobe senior years. We'll talk about that one day. That was, those guys were ridiculous.
Just unbelievable. All right, before we wrap this up, let's end something fun. Adam, you had this idea. It's a real good one. NBA players you'd most want to hang with. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so I brought this up because we saw Klay Thompson taking his boat to the game. He had the boat hat on
Instagram Live.
Yeah, and he just seems like such a cool guy to chill with.
Yeah.
So it just made me think of this topic. So do you want to go first?
Is he your guy? Is Klay
No,
your dude?
no.
Oh, okay, good. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, this is your idea, Adam.
Yeah, this is your idea. You start.
Okay.
Because
So
it's a fun concept because, like, we know about, like, James Harden loves strip clubs and, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so that seems like that would be kind of fun for TJ. And then, it's also a different kind of vibe for other people. So
It's a vibe.
most fun NBA player to hang with.
I did have Harden in the top 3, but he's not my number 1.
Wait, because you've actually hung with Harden in a
Kind
strip
of,
club?
yeah.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's not get too deep into that. But yeah, I've seen James Harden in action before, and trust me, he likes to have a good time. He really enjoys himself. But the player I would most want to hang out with for a day is somebody who I have met here in studio. And do you guys want to take a guess?
Okay. We haven't had that many NBA players here, like Kareem and Chris Webber. JJ Redick, I remember, was here. Baron Davis.
He's a current player. I'll tell you guys.
Oh, is it Boban?
Boban. Boban is the coolest dude ever. Come on. You hang out with Boban for a day, your day immediately becomes brighter. You become a more positive person. You see what's good in the world. He has profound insights. He gives you some great soup. You know what I mean? Like you're just happy. You're just enjoying yourself. You're laughing. You're just feeling awesome. Like Boban is one of the most positive, likable guys I've ever seen in my life. Everybody loves him in the NBA. He's so cool. The dude was in an action movie. He
was R.I.P. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but I just think that by the end of the day, I would just my heart would be glowing. My heart would be glowing. I would really enjoy it.
That is so funny.
So I'm going with Boban.
Boban's a good pick.
That's a good one.
TJ, you got a good one?
I mean, there's so many, but I'm just going to stick with one of my 2 teams here. I'm going to hang with the big man. You see him on Twitter. You see him in press conferences. The dude, he calls himself Troll on a Twitter page. He's hilarious. And if a fight broke out, I'd be pretty comfortable with him having my back, and that's Joel Embiid. I think Embiid would be so much fun. Just the trash he would talk, and people show that guy so much love. And you ever walk around with a 7-footer? I mean, I haven't.
I was just going to say.
But, I'm sure it's a lot of fun.
I was just going to say, you called him the big man. You're a big guy, and he's a foot taller than you.
Yeah, right? Come on. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think Embiid would be a guy. Either Embiid or Kawhi, right? Because everyone thinks Kawhi's so quiet, but he's the fun guy, right? So that must tell you, just because he doesn't say stuff on the mic, probably in person, when you're just chilling in the cut, Kawhi's probably hilarious to hang out with. Yeah. So
he seems like he has a funny, dry sense of humor.
Yeah, right? So I think one of those 2 would be my pick.
That's pretty good. I got a top 3. I'm going to do what TJ does. Klay, obviously, is near the top of the list. Like him on the boat with the sweater and the Steuben hat, people are in the chat looking out for icebergs and sharks, and he's cracking jokes. It just, he just looks like he's from Orange County. He just looks like a super fun, chill hang. That seems really cool. I love my man Jaylen Brown on the Celtics. I think this dude, his post-playing career, I think is going to be way more interesting than his actual playing career. Oh, by the way, he's an all-star and dropped 50 the other night. So I'm having the conversations and getting super in-depth and real. I think that would be really fun over dinner or lunch, what have you. And if I'm looking at young guys, you talk about fun and press conferences. Give me Ant Edwards.
Oh my goodness, I didn't think about Ant.
Come on, give me
Ant's
Anthony
my third
Edwards,
as well.
bro.
Yes, you know I'm a big Ant fan.
I know,
yeah, I didn't think
this
about
guy.
that.
I think you would be. You want to talk about having fun, just laughing all day, where your face hurts and your sides hurt, and being sore the next day. That's the type of day I think you would have. Wouldn't you want to go to Disneyland or like a mall or something, or an arcade and just spend the day with Dave and Buster's
That's
with
a great
Anthony
call.
Edwards?
That's a great call.
Great call because he has no filter. He just says what he thinks.
That's exactly what he's thinking. So he would call you out on your dumb stuff. I think it would just be such a fun hang.
And Brockman, sometimes I just say ridiculous stuff just to make you laugh.
And Edwards is Southern too.
And Edwards, he's the best at anything. Whatever you need. If it involves a ball, I'm the best. Cooking, I'm the best. Golf, I'm the best. Hockey, I've never played, but if I did, I'd be the best. That would be a fun dude to hang out.
I think Ant Edwards.
Obviously,
he's only 22, so just the things that he doesn't know. Man, I don't want Seinfeld. What are you talking about? Hey, crack a joke. I just think it would be hilarious.
Until he figures out that Seinfeld he sounds like me. Until he watches the breasts and realizes, wow, this show is hilarious, man. Came in front.
All right.
Hey, before we leave, though, before you wrap this up, I'm going to give you something to think about for next show, right?
Okay.
Just thinking about basketball songs. 2 basketball songs. Right? Yeah. Tyler
Curtis
Hero.
Blow?
Well, Jack Harlow has a song about Tyler Hero, and Sheck West has a song about Mo Bamba. So the question is, I want you to do your research. I want you to listen to both of those songs. Get back to me which one you like better. And here's the deal, right? Sheck West grew up with Mo Bamba. That's why he named the song after Mo Bamba. But could you imagine if he grew up with from that same draft class? What if Sheck West grew up with Luka or Trae Young? Then imagine how much bigger that song would have been than him naming after Mo Bamba. But the Tyler Hero by Jack Harlow, Mo Bamba by Sheck West. We're going to talk about that next week, and you tell me which song. But I still think if it was Luka, I got who's calling a young Luka's phone. Where Ali with the no, I'll be balling like my name is Luka Doncic. So I'm just saying.
All right, guys, what do you think about our NBA hang picks? Leave them in the comments if you made it this far. Hopefully you have. And make sure to subscribe and tune in next week on the Rich Eisen Show basketball podcast.
Hey.
With Adam and TJ, I'm Brockman. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.